would get his big break with the stars when Bill Romanowski began to work with Conte. Romanowski was known for being one of the fiercest football players of his time and was just an absolute monster on the field. This attracted many other high-profile athletes to seek his help. Conte began to diversify his portfolio, and his brand, Balco, did as well. In exchange for his help, athletes would promote products like ZMA, Barry Bonds would post for an ad. Conte's edge came from a product he provided, commonly known as the Clear back in the day. Chemist extraordinaire Patrick Arnold had synthesized THG, aka the Clear, because taking this anabolic steroid under the current guidelines would get you all the gains and never test positive. Investigations, testimonies, and confessions of Conte himself would reveal that athletes would be on a combination of drugs.
What did you give her?
The substance called the Clear, EPO, growth hormone, and insulin.
Conte went further than just providing PEDs. He also admitted to hiring an ex-employee from the testing facilities, so he would be tipped off when they were close to catching him.
The reason that we were able to continue using THG for another year is because I had intelligence from inside the IOC accredited laboratories that they were unable to determine a test.
I don't get it. Why are they confessing? They're not confessing.
They're bragging.
When asked if he ever thought about slowing down, he answered,
Do you not feel any shame?
No, I do not. And I'm gonna go back and say it again. It's not cheating if everyone's doing it.
Balco is booming by the time they started to get investigated by the feds. Conte had coaches who would recommend him, coaches for the likes of Marion Jones, Shane Mosley, and Tim Montgomery. And in 2003, USADA would begin their own investigation into Balco when Trevor Graham sent a syringe to an official with the stuff in it. The syringe turned out to be provided by CJ Hunter, a PED-using shot putter who just happened to be Marion Jones' husband. Marion Jones was America's biggest track star of her time. Little girls grew up wanting to be just like her. She would go on to be the face of running and the face of women's sports. Jeff Nowitzki would be the man leading the investigation against Balco. Jeff was a local. He had grown up in Burlingame and had gone to Mills High in Millbrae. He was a standout high jumper and set the record for a 7-foot high jump. Put a pin in that name because it will be important for many reasons. Balco would come down in flames shortly after Conte found out the feds were onto him. He claims Jeff Nowitzki illegally looked through his garbage for a year until he had enough evidence to get the green light to take him down.
All of the evidence that was confiscated that day, in my opinion, was collected illegally. There was never a search warrant that was properly served.
The feds were zealous and wanted to make an example of Bonds and Conte. Barry Bonds, in case you didn't know, is a 14-time All-Star, 7-time National League MVP, 8-time Golden Glove winner, 12-time Silver Slugger, 3-time Hank Aaron Award in 2001, 2002, and 2004, an award given to the top hitter of each league, 2-time National Batting Champion, 2-time National Run Leader, held records for 762 home runs and 73 home runs in a single season, batting .863 average slugging percentage in a single season. And that was long. To wrap it up, the man was amazing. His name was linked to Balco and Conte through his physical trainer, Greg Anderson, who is connected to many other ball players. Anderson would go on to plead guilty on counts of money laundering and steroid distribution. He was the plug for the Clear. Bonds till this day denies ever being associated with Balco. Even in his testimony, which was leaked illegally by Conte's lawyer, where Bonds admitted to unknowingly using the cream after his trainer had given it to him. Anyways, that story is a video on its own. In the end, Balco would be shut down and the names would be leaked. Athletes were disgraced and their records were erased. Conte would go on a media tour like he was promoting a fight. He would go on 2020 to dry snitch on every high-profile athlete he worked with.
Are you saying Marion Jones was a drugs cheat?
Without a doubt. Did the injection with me sitting right there next to her.
Right in front of you?
Right in front of me.
Marion Jones, Tim Montgomery, Kelly White, and Bill Romanowski. Conte revealed that he had them all on a doping program he personally oversaw and tweaked them depending on the athlete. Conte went as far as reading a tell-all book where he would name drop athletes he worked with and tell his side of the story. The book would be so controversial that publishers who planned on releasing it ended up shelving the book and never released it. The book would also see Conte in court against Shane Mosley and Marion Jones, both suing Conte for defamation. Both cases would later be dropped and settled out of court, according to Conte.
Biggest joke of all. You know what that is? I would guesstimate that more than 50% of the athletes are taking some form of anabolic steroids.
Baseball players.
Okay, absolutely.
More than
Without a
50%.
doubt. More than 50%. Okay. But I'll tell you something else they're doing that they've never addressed at all. And that's this. My guess is greater than 80% are taking some sort of a stimulant before each and every game.
Strength and conditioning coach at the time, Daryl Hudson. We talked, and initially I probably just sent some nutritional supplements. Eventually, he let me know that he and Shane would like to fly up and meet with me. So on Saturday, June 26, 2003, that's what happened. They flew from Southern California up to Oakland Airport. I hear a lot of rumors. You know, you hear things about this guy and that guy, and he had used performance-enhancing drugs before he ever met me. Now, whether that's true again, you know, I don't know. I'm just telling you that's what I do.
Lawyers would upload entire depositions on YouTube where Mosley is pressured to answer questions regarding PEDs, where he admitted using HGH and other PEDs unknowingly. I mean, I'm not going to draw a conclusion, but you can see the videos for yourself. But I think Mosley's biggest issue with Conte is the name dropping him while he's doing his high profile interviews. Conte would go as far as claiming to have shown Mosley how to inject himself correctly, which I assume rubs Mosley in the wrong way.
I came around the desk and he stepped back over here and we sat knee to knee, and I basically showed him specifically how to inject EPO.
But hey, it was your choice to associate yourself with Conte. You now pay the consequences for that decision. Conte would get a deal from the feds and would only plead guilty to 2 of 42 felonies, those being conspiracy to distribute steroids and money laundering. He would serve 4 months in prison in 2005. Other members in Balco would also be found guilty of other counts and serve prison time. Conte would go on the Joe Rogan Experience and just continue to snitch on as many people as possible. I mean, it's not a good look to keep name dropping those who were caught cheating. Yes, the information is public, but I find it in poor taste due to the controversy and chaos these interviews caused for the athletes. After all, Conte was on the same path as these athletes. They both needed an edge over the competition and decided to cheat to win. But it doesn't mean it's okay to go on a snitching tour to name drop every single athlete you work with. As time passed and the world moved on, Conte once again returned to the old ways. And by that I mean he was back to training and consulting athletes. This time, he does it under the name SNAC, which